I think we'll just look to improve the team in any way that we can, and not specific to one necessary group. The offensive line helped us get to the Super Bowl, and they gave us opportunities to go win the Super Bowl. And everything always falls on them statistically, but that's not always the case. There's play calls that can be better to help put them in a better position. And so there's a lot that plays into all that. And again, they were an offensive line that helped us get to the Super Bowl and gave us opportunities to win. And I think they should be commended for that.
That being said, though, Burrow was still sacked 70 times, in the regular season and postseason combined. If the offensive line you feel like was, good enough and ample enough to get y'all there, what do you attribute those 70 sacks to, the majority of them then?
We just got to be better as a unit.
That is a literal and accurate answer. We do have to be better as a unit. There's so many things that go into it. It's the quality of the players, it's the quality of the coaching, it's the quality of the execution. Sometimes the quarterback holds the ball a little bit too long.
That's right.
That's part of it too.
Right. Yeah.
Everything goes into it.
Yeah. No, I think there is that. Hey, you got a young offensive line. That's the first thing. Are there some guys there that, you'd probably like to get an upgrade? No doubt about that. Yes. So there's that aspect of it. Burrow is a guy that will hold on to the ball a little bit throughout the year and take some sacks. Listen, all we got to do is go back to the divisional game with the Tennessee Titans. He took some really bad sacks in that game, knocked them out of field goal position once or twice. So that's part of it. You're going to have to deal with that too when you got a guy like Joe Burrow because, of course, a lot of the times he gets out of those plays and makes things happen. But, regardless, they're flirting with danger, as we've talked about. I mean, we talked about it last year. We're talking about it again, and that's got to change for their football team. It goes back to our free agency conversation we started off the show with, and the Packers. Yeah, this is a time, Bengals, you got to break the mold a little bit with what you do in free agency. And the time is now. The iron is hot. Like it's you got the team. So now protect your best player on your team and get that offensive line straight. And then also, what was disappointing about the game, Mike, is they did nothing really to help the offensive line out. They did nothing. That's where I don't get it. Everybody in the world that watches football knew that this was an issue in the game, and the Bengals just went, we think we'll play better this game. That's really what they did. They just went, we'll play better. Our guys will play better. Oh, okay. Right? That's where I don't get it. There was no movement in the quarterback. There was no reverses. There was no screens. Well, we talked about it all week. The Rams are the worst. We talked about it all week. If I'm the Bengals, I'm going to take every Deebo Samuel screen I saw from the 49ers against the Rams over the last 3 years and put it in my game plan. No screens against the team that was worst in football at defending the screens. Don't keep tight ends into block. Oh, wait, you did one play and you threw for a 75-yard touchdown on it, and don't do it again? Just some of that stuff, that's where I look at the Bengals and just go, I don't know what the hell they were doing the 2 weeks in the preparation. They just went with, we'll block them this week. I don't know why, but we will. Oh, okay.
There really was a comment last week from someone with the organization, someone in coaching, that they trust that their guys are going to.
You're right. They said
they'll play well when they have to.
Right.
They'll play well when they have to. Well, they didn't.
Okay.
They didn't.
Yes.
If they'd have held their block a little bit longer on 4th and 1, they would have had the parade in Cincinnati yesterday because Joe Burrow would have seen Jamar Chase wide ass open because Jalen Ramsey fell down, and that's on the offensive line that Joe Burrow didn't have time to see it happen. Period.
Sure. There's a handful of plays during the game that people are open and protection affects it. Or now the protection's good, and Burrow, though, has been under such pressure the last 3 or 4 plays, he's still worried about, am I protected, that he can't see down the field correctly. So it's the filter down effect, too, where, there was a number of plays that, there were some opportunities to be had there, and they didn't get done because there was somebody in his face, or he was always having to look over his shoulder to make sure he was okay, and they got to get that fixed. There's no doubt.
Kelly Craig's question, do you feel Joe Burrow took too many bad sacks? Hard to be upset with him with the state of the O-line, but seemed to take some uncharacteristically bad sacks. Thoughts on that? P.S. Love your banner with that jerk Florio. Hey, Kelly, we didn't ask for any commentary. We just want questions. No editorial observations, please. Get off my screen.
Man.
Okay, so this is kind of what we've already talked about.
Yeah.
Where's the balance?
Yeah.
And it's on the quarterback to get rid of the ball faster, but as you said, it's on the coaching staff to design plays that allow him to get rid of the ball faster and to put the defense in a bad spot and to take advantage of the weaknesses in the defense. And they had 2 weeks to come up with this.
I know. That's what I just don't understand it. I don't. One, in the game itself, I did not think he took any bad sacks. I did not look at it and go, oh, man, that was a stupid one. Most times when he was overwhelmed, he had no chance. He couldn't even do anything. The other thing, too, is that's different about the game and the Rams and the animals that they are on that side of the ball, and I say that respectively. Hey, Joe Burrow, a few times when he did get out of the pocket, I made a point on my podcast yesterday and going, hey, against most teams, he turns the corner here and gets 8 or 9 yards. We saw him do that. Against the Rams, with the speed they had up front, he couldn't turn the corner, so he'd get pushed out for a no gain or loss of 1. There was the difference in that. But I didn't look at this game specifically and think Joe Burrow took bad sacks. I don't know, Mike. I don't know. Is there one that comes to your mind? But here, look at these here. I mean, there's no.
He didn't have time to take a bad sack.
He had no time to do anything. And then he thinks he's going to turn the corner, but he's got Aaron Donald with a rocket up his butt. Now you got the 5-man rush. Where is he going to go? That's not a bad sack. He had the ball for like 1 Mississippi, and it was like, get sacked. I mean, what are you going to do there? And the guy's not open. And to the point there where the game plan was ordinary, it's like they knew what route was coming there. Again, here, that's not holding it too long. That is, the dam is broke, and it broke in a hurry, and it's a damn waterfall coming out of there. So this was not one of the games Joe Burrow took bad sacks. It wasn't. They were overwhelmed up front.
That was ultimately why I picked him to win.
Yeah.
Because we've seen in too many Super Bowls in recent years
you go with the
what
D-line.
happens when that D-line is talented and motivated. And, my God, the way that another again, I mean, look, it's Aaron Donald. You got to do something. It's not just, how you say with the X's and O's and it looks good on the board and we're going to put a tight end on the defensive end and it's all going to work out. Sometimes you have a guy that will maul anyone you try to block him with one-on-one. So you have to come up with another plan. You have to do the red dot thing on that guy, and you have to come up with a game plan that is specifically aimed at taking him away. The problem is, they may have tried to solve this Rubik's Cube 50 different ways, because if you shift resources to Donald, then Von Miller's going to have 7 sacks by himself. That's the problem they were facing. If you cover both of them, Leonard Floyd's going to be the Super Bowl MVP.
Exactly right. That's right. They're completely undermanned. There was really no matchups that look good. And, Mike, I'm going to jump ahead of here because just we're talking about it. Like, we got a question here from @GoalLineStan, too. Could you show how the Rams got Aaron Donald one-on-one in the second half? Matt Casey, let's go back to that last pack of plays there and get to the 5-man rush. Yeah, it's coming, and I'll show you. But they, to your point, in the first half, with the way the Rams lined up on defense, and they kind of played it simple, the Bengals were able to figure out a way to get the center to go to Aaron Donald's side every time so the guard and the center could double team him a lot. But one of the great adjustments of the football game, in my opinion, was by Raheem Morris. In the second half, look at this play here. If you guys just pause it right at the start before he snaps the ball, if you can go back. Like here, Mike, this is one way they did it, but they did it a variety of ways. Where, look here, Mike, they got a linebacker over the center. This is some of the stuff they started to do in the second half, to where now the center can't do anything. Aaron Donald's on the right over 77, Adonijay, excuse me. And so now, because of this alignment, they didn't allow the Bengals to help out on Aaron Donald. And to me, that was one of the keys. They found ways to get in different sets up front to where now they couldn't find ways to finagle to blitz Aaron Donald. And that was, to me, one of the big adjustments of the football game that helped the Rams win and helped the defense dominate in the second half.
Play that one off the snap again, too, because it looked like 75 was thinking about helping out. But
he couldn't once because I think
it ain't gonna happen.
No, and you know what I think he's thinking is, because a lot of the times the Rams get in these sets and one guy drops out, so he might have been thinking, wait, 58 might drop out here and the other 4 come, so he is probably getting ready to help out. Right, you're right. It looks like he was. Agreed with you. It looked like he was ready to help out 77, but then 58 came and he couldn't help, and the setter's one-on-one. And then the other aspect that they did a lot in the second half, look on the left side here of the offensive line. Look at the Rams defensive players. They did more of this in the second half too, where you'll see both D linemen on the left side of your screen slant in, 50 Jones loops around. So they played more games up front, more stunts and slants and twists and all of that. And the Bengals, not only could they not double team Aaron Donald like you see, but they had a hard time passing off some of these stunts and things as well, which was a weakness for them all year long. And, Their weaknesses got exposed in the biggest game in the worst way. I mean, it was 7 sacks. It could have been 10 or 11 sacks easily. I mean, Burrow got the ball out of his hand about as quick as anybody in Super Bowl history in this football game and still got sacked 7 times.
That's the play that saved the game.
Saved the game, Mike. You said it after. You're right.
Yeah.
Kept
11-point deficit early in the third quarter.
Right.
And then maybe they start pressing on offense, and then it's an 18-point hole.
Yeah.
What can you do about that, though? I'm looking for the openings. There isn't enough time for Burrow to do anything. At one point, I'm thinking maybe that's a spot where you first of all, you have to know it's coming.
Yeah,
but
sure.
Where's the opening when you just get overwhelmed like that? Is there an opening when your offensive line just gets swallowed and devoured by the defense?
No, I think that goes into, like, again, our Kansas City Chiefs, Tampa Bay Bucks conversation last year right into this. Like, they just need some better Jimmies and the Joes there. They do. Let alone, back to the point we go, they never slowed the Rams down. They never made them think. Wait, there was never a reverse or a toss sweep to, Jamar Chase. There was never, the screens we talked about. So the Rams just got to keep going zoom, 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 zoom. And then, what are the other things you can do when you're under man there? We've talked about it a lot through the playoffs, and we see good offenses do it. Let's keep a tight end in. Let's keep the back in. Now we can slide the line one way and help out with a bunch of people there and overmatch them with numbers. That's where it was disappointing, in my opinion. So they need better players. Sure, we know that. But they also did nothing to make the Rams' defensive line think or slow down ever the whole game. It was just like, hey, Joe will just throw it quick. And, I know you heard me, I think, in the pregame show. That was one of the things that really jumped out to me when Joe Burrow went out for his personal workout. All he did was throw the ball quick. It was like, that's all he did. It was get it out, or wait, Aaron Donald's coming, let me throw it awkwardly. He worked on that as much as I've ever seen a quarterback do that type of stuff in a pregame warm-up. And that, to me, it should have been a warning for me to go, wait, they just think he's going to have to make plays today and just make magic happen. That's the approach they're going in. They're just going to hope their guys work better. And that's what happened, and that's what kind of came to fruition once the game started.
Hi, I'm Mike Tirico, and thanks for watching. Make sure to hit subscribe for the latest news and highlights from NBC Sports.